So we all have a very distinct set of talents and gifts that we are born with. Some of these gifts and talents we cultivate either naturally or by accident. So given that we have our unique set of traits, specialties, talents, gifts, strengths, abilities, they are specifically for you and to you. Not only are these particular identifiers for you to harness and leverage, but even ones that maybe certain gifts you don't have, or certain attributes or talents that you don't really have, that's not coming naturally, but you really desire for that to be one of yours, it can be yours if you choose to work at that. So nothing is really off limits. The point of this clip here is to remind us all that in order for us to come really into our true power, in order for us as beings to ascend, we are given the responsibility to become all that we are meant to become here, and not to let the gifts that we were given, that we cultivated, that are natural, or that we work toward, not to let those gifts go by the wayside. That there are so many multifaceted purposes for our gifts, and we must find our own ways, our own unique ways to direct that energy for the positive, for the collective, for humanity. Let's not underestimate ourselves. No one is born without gifts. Everyone has gifts, and really only you know what they are. And if you don't, you can explore what those could be. So what I've come to understanding is that it may not be what you think it is. We can live decades of our life in one direction, in one experience, and come to a crossroad and understand that while that entire part of your life did serve a purpose, absolutely, nothing is ever wasted, that it's probably now time to make a shift and change gears. It doesn't have to be a 180, but only you will know what you're being called to do and how you're being called to serve for the collective. And it may take some time to really let it all soak in and for you to absorb that, but I do highly recommend all awakened beings to think about that. Are they in the right place for themselves? It doesn't mean you're in the wrong place, so don't take that the wrong way. But what I'm saying is that think about that. Are you in a place? Are you in a position? Are you serving in a way that really brings your soul alive? Are you using your gifts, the ones you know are for you to use? And of course, even like myself in the past, I could have easily answered those questions and said yes, 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 yes. And at that time, it was yes. Even though I knew that there was bigger things I wanted to do, I still knew that I had to make a living and provide for myself. So I somewhat dismissed the practicality and the real truth in that. Not that I was ignoring myself or denying my truth. That's not what it was. For me personally, it was, okay, well, yes, I know I have X, Y, and Z traits, but in the real world here, I have to, do this. And so technically I am using these gifts to help serve in this way. And that's wonderful. I did serve in that way. But there does come a point of higher ascension, and it's only up to you to know if you are in your most authentic form. And one example would be in my, career, I worked for the banking financial services industry, and I really did an amazing job of really serving the business clients as an advocate, as a liaison, as everything. And I did feel in alignment with that role for all of those years. And that was true for me at that moment. Now, I did still know throughout the entire time that it wasn't like 100%. I didn't like the fact that the system I was serving was not for the betterment of humanity. Of course, I was able to find ways to talk myself through how, banking and extending credit and the commercial portfolio, this helps the community, this helps businesses. And yes, that is true. That is true. But on a higher conscious level, I still knew that the whole entire system as a complete whole, I did not identify that. I did not identify with that anymore. And I hadn't really fully identified with it, but I was forcing myself to live in like practicality and reality. And until I was able to really shift and really assess who I am, who I want to become, and who I want to evolve into, was I then able to see even the bigger picture and surrender all of those aspects, and trust my inner guidance system, trust that I would be supported by the universe, supported by my higher self and the divine realm. They would guide and lead me. And yeah, serving the system in general in that manner was where I felt the main disconnect. It wasn't that like my role itself was not in disconnect. It was the conglomerate working and serving for the financial services industry just did not resonate with my soul anymore. And so, yeah, that's why I left corporate America. And I'm working for my own self as an entrepreneur, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed that process. So that was just a little bit about me, but I hope that in me sharing my experience that it could open up things for you to consider, because that's the point, is for us to share our own personal experiences, not be afraid, to be bold and be courageous. And we learn by hearing examples and stories that others, experienced what they went through. And so I hope that this video serves in that manner.